Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be showing off a really cool build. This is the ultimate Quasar Majestic Dragon deck is probably what I'm going to be calling it because you can make so many things. But I also want to give you guys a few variety of gameplays to really show off the power of this new Synchro support. Giving you guys a few different builds. I'm going to show the deck winning. I'm also going to be showing it losing because this way you guys can kind of get an idea of, you know, what's a more realistic thing to go ahead and see. Also, I want to show off some interesting interactions with the gameplay here that you guys will see in a moment. So anyways, the first one is going to be the Quasar plus the shooting Majestic Star Dragon combo. This guy's actually playing Skull Servants, which they did more recently get some new support as well. Now, since this deck is very combo oriented, even though it is, I would say it's a really good deck going turn one if your opponent has no hand traps, or if you know, you don't get wrecked by just, you know, it's a combo deck, so it's kind of fragile due to, you know, hand traps just being super hard to negate, because in order to get to your combos to negate things, you're going to need to do lots of different steps. Now, this play is actually going to be kind of consistent to go for these three monsters. This is like anime level boards over here. We got Quasar and Majestic Star, and on top of that, Shooting Star is actually going to be utilized super good here, because the main problem that you have for any of you guys that, you know, have played this deck is sometimes you invest everything into this one card, and then once it banishes it for the effect, your opponent just OTKs you, right? But now with, what's funny is he reduced everything with the White Princess, which is going to reduce their attack times 300 per every level or rank. So they actually lose so much stats here, and he tries to attack into him, but Shooting Star actually has an effect a lot of people never get to use, which is once per turn when your opponent actually declares an attack. This would also be great against a Gren Maju variant, as that's another deck where it doesn't really care too much about like activating effects. It's more just going for massive amounts of numbers, right? Where Shooting Star can negate that attack and then actually go away. And what's cool with the Arriving Miracle is it gets that bonus effect when any card that specifically lists that Stardust, whereas if a Synchro monster is special summoned, you get that effect. So it has that effect where like you get to make it so your opponent can't return them to the, what is it? Neither player can return Stardust or Synchro monsters that list Stardust in their text. So you kind of have some protection with it, but every time you bring back that monster, you're going to be activating that effect. And obviously King of Skull Servant, 7,000 attack. Shooting Star, not going to be happening today. He's also going to go ahead and take some damage because, well, this card's not that important to actually keep up, but on top of that, this is only 3,000. So now we can go use the shooting Majestic Star Dragon with that awesome ability to negate the effect of an opponent's effect monster, and then you can just basically OTK through that. Remember that also Quasar can attack multiple times, so he's going to be able to basically hit him for 8,000 with that after using that Majestic Star Dragon effect, not letting him get out the Skull Servants again. But I want to show you guys the combo again here, but I want to go ahead and also highlight some other different variants of this deck. So I'm going to show you guys a huge variety of gameplay over here. This is something I think is kind of cool. This is an Assault Mode variant of utilizing some of the newer support as well. As you know, I have not shown off Assault Mode in a very, very long time, so I figured, you know, it's new Stardust stuff. I want to make it like an ultimate deck profile video showing you guys, again, the deck winning, the deck losing, and also some interesting interactions. So like I mentioned before, it is very susceptible to hand traps, which you guys will see here very soon. In fact, an interesting interaction with the deck that I was actually unaware of, and it might actually surprise some of you Yu-Gi-Oh players as well. So anyways, that's going to go ahead and get negated, as he has this effect to tribute itself, make it go away, and then it will then come back. And again, remember, the Synchro has to be summoned in order for the bonus effect of one of the newer continuous cards that lets you either draw the card and also get whatever play that you want. Technically, you'll end up getting both of the effects, but pretty much with the Stardust Assault Mode, I mean, it's just making this card, and then obviously with the newer support, you're going to be able to have more consistency making Stardust, so it does help out. And I'll give you guys just the deck profile. I just want to again give you guys different builds of the deck. Now this one up over here, you'll see that he is still actually playing the Majestic Star Dragon, but if you have the right cards for Assault Mode, I think double Assault Mode, you know, Stardust is probably better than this, because this just negates one thing where this will negate double. Now we're seeing the new Stardust Synchron activating Arriving Miracle, so you can either special summon the tuner or draw a card, which, I mean, at this point, he's already like has so much advantage. And on top of that, he's got another Assault Mode activate and another Back to the Front. And remember, when this card goes away, it lets you summon a Stardust Dragon from your graveyard. And this effect over here is whenever anything if a synchro monster is special summoned, it doesn't have to be synchro summoned, it just has to be special summoned. So this would actually work with the new Stardust support. So that's just something I wanted to share. And like I said, I haven't really covered assault mode, and someone asked about it recently. I'm like, well, there's nothing new, you know, why bother covering it, is kind of how I felt about it. But for those guys that play the Usartic, they also got some newer support recently, but this is a completely different build. Like I said, I want to give you guys some variety. This is kind of a more rocket, that's a little bit of a dragon variant, because you can splash this in a lot of different things, and that's what I wanted to really show off. I mean, obviously the core idea is to go for that big synchro. The first deck profile is probably what I would recommend most of you guys to play, as some of these other ones might have some really interesting combos. I mean, there's also the Fleur Synchron, which is really cool because you get to also summon another level 1 or 2 low monster from your hand. Obviously, with Global being gone, there's no like double synchros, but this can kind of help you if you happen to have the right cards in your hand. Remember, with the Arriving Miracle, you're able to also get that additional summon, so this could extend your plays even further over here. But we're going to see the Usartic player go for his synchro play. And important thing, watch this, guys. So he's going for this. This effect right here with Arriving Miracle will activate when either player is going for that synchro summon. So you could actually maybe even consider running this as a side deck card if your opponent is going to be synchro summoning, especially during your turn, because there are some archetypes, you know, that can do that. You know, the side frames obviously could be one of them, but like that could be something that you can benefit off of, which could be cool. Which I actually that thought didn't even cross my mind with that, but there's another play that you'll see very soon. But I think this guy's idea was with the Black Garden. Obviously with Black Garden, you're halving everything. So pretty much once this card is also halved, which will be 2k, once it vanishes and comes back, it will then have that, you know, it'll have more attack basically than most of the stuff that will ever come out onto the board, as long as that card does get protected. But it also does do another thing for the archetype, which like I mentioned before, when I've seen a lot of players play the deck, they would invest everything into Majestic Star, and then sometimes they would also summon the extra tuner in defense mode, and then they would pass, which I think we can do better than that, and that's why I want to go ahead and show you guys like a bread and butter combo right after this one. But again, the most important thing is just being able to get that, you know, multiple monsters, not just this on the board, because just one powerful monster, back in the day you could make Quasar and that would be like, I win the game. But you know, again, Yu-Gi-Oh has gotten much faster. You can't just rely off of, you know, one negate. You need multiple negates and also lots of monsters, but he just had to say GG over here. Usartic is probably not what I consider the most meta, but it does have some, you know, anti-meta-ish support into it. But anyways, I want to show you guys this example here. This is probably going to be very important for those guys that kind of want to play a more pure variant of this. You don't want to play like the dragons or the Black Guard, and or the Assault mode. This is probably what most of you guys want. So this is just like a little easy bread and butter combo, as Junk Converter just gives you like access to everything, right? So here's just like a little cool combo. Also, Doppel Warrior is still a fantastic card, and I think, you know, back in the day when you played Quasar, that was a really cool card as well. You can also Rhoda for it. Back when you used to play BLS, he was another dark target too. Also mixing in Librarian over here for the potential extra draw power. If only Librarian was at 3, man. The Quasar decks would be insane. There's like, you know, you can go for triple Quasar, but it's still pretty good. Again, also this can technically block some different changes, but being able to add a lot of different things can be good. And there's another card that I want to mention, which is Stardust Shimmer. This will actually extend your combos even further if you happen to draw. It can be kind of like a reborn at the end of the day for the archetype, but if something does get stopped, it could be, you know, depending on the right scenario, it could be another card where, like, if your opponent hand traps you at the wrong time, you can still combo off. So you can see another Doppel over here, and we have Reborn summoning the Junk again. And again, with Librarian, it just allows you to draw a lot more cards. But the core consistent combo that you can potentially do is just Majestic and Shooting Star. Obviously, if you can make Quasar, depending on what you draw, I mean, it's not what I'd be considering like super rare to pull off this combo, you know, once in a million anime status duels. But you guys saw it in the first duel against the Skull Servants. But this is kind of just a basic core concept of like, you know, what you want to try to go for with your plays. Obviously, with Librarian, your draws might be a little bit RNG, but for the most part, this is going to be like the kind of the example of the combo here. But like I said, I want to show you guys a lot of different builds. And this one actually shows off a really good interaction between two, players here. So I actually didn't know about this. So when I saw the effect of the new Synchro boss monster, which is the shooting Majestic Star Dragon. It has this effect, obviously, where as the quick effect, once per when your opponent activates a card effect as a quick effect, you can banish until the end phase and then negate the activation if you do banish that card. Now, how it works specifically, like he's able to go ahead and negate that effect, but watch what happens here, because this is important for like rulings and stuff. You know, as I try to give you guys some rulings, you know, when I can. So he's going to be able to actually utilize Lilith as a quick effect to actually stop this card. So he's going to activate this effect over here to negate one of the effects. Which, you know, where is it? Once per turn, you can negate the effects of one effect monster your opponent controls. But you can chain the other effect of Lilith. I thought this card would have went away because it would be like a cost, but that part over there is not going to instantly banish itself, so you can chain to it and then get rid of it. So there's kind of a downside with this, but this is an important ruling for, you know, anyone that's interested in playing. You definitely need to know about those rulings. And pretty much from here, well, he's not going to be coming back. But this was just an important ruling that I did want to show you guys in terms of gameplay. And at this point, it's game over. I'll just go ahead and smack him for 3K, and that's going to be game. But that one was, it was still cool that we did get to see, you know, the card once again. But I want to give you guys more examples of it. But this one, I believe is it this one? Okay, well, we'll show off, again, a few different builds. This one's using the Synchron carrier. There's also a Bri Synchron. There's a lot of, like, weird Synchron cards that are just, you know, you don't see every day, so I want to go ahead and share it with you guys. So what this card allows you to do, during your main phase, you get to normal summon another Synchron monster in addition to your normal summoner set. So if you're worried about maybe, like, losing out to a hand trap, this could be a card that could technically extend your combos. And if another Synchro monster is sent to your graveyard as material for a Synchro summon of a warrior or a machine, which, hey, there's one right there, and it lets you draw a card, you're able to special summon a Synchron token that's Earth level 2. The stats don't matter because you're going to synchro with it anyways. By the way, this one's just at level 1. And for some reason, they still haven't added the little artwork here. There's no official artwork, I guess, for it yet. But there's also Blood Rose Dragon. This can be another option that you can go for it as a quick effect. It does have the ability, where is it? If this card is synchro summon, you can banish as many cards as possible from the graveyard. So your opponent really needs a setup that could be there for that effect. But if it was synchro summon using Black Rose as material, where is it? You can destroy all other cards on the field when it's summoned over there. If this card is synchro summoned, yeah. And then the quick effect is that when your opponent activates a card or effect that would destroy cards, as a quick effect, you can tribute it, negate it, and then also special summon a Black Rose from your extra deck or graveyard, which can kind of help out. Remember that this is all just showing you guys different builds. Proccing the Arriving Miracle can also be a great option. Also, this guy has Nibiru, which this deck does not like. It loses to Nibiru very hard, as it needs to special summon it several times. But once you get the shooting Majestic Star Dragon out, it doesn't really matter. If he's trying to do anything, you just say no. So he's got the other Illuminate. By the way, Arriving Miracle won't proc its effect multiple different times. So you can't just use like, you can get both different effects though. That's something important. But yeah, it's not like you're gonna be able to, you know, put 3 to draw 6. Like, it's fortunately not gonna be working like that. But at this point, it's already game over. He's just got a Gamma. But this was just another cool play that was just something I wanted to share with you guys. But you know, I feel like this video is gonna be too long if I show you guys every single one. But I want to give you guys some deck profiles now that you guys have seen it in action, courtesy of all of the players over here. But I'll probably actually update you guys with some more gameplay with even crazier stuff. But let's go ahead and hop right into the deck profile for some of the ones that you guys saw in the gameplay. So here's the one that I recommend, courtesy of my homie Trigger over here. This is the one that I would say is probably going to be better for a pure variant. Again, the idea of this deck is to try to get out not only this, but also grab yourself a Quasar. If you can extend it out to this is also another option. Like, I mean, if you make both of these, you're pretty good on most of your games. Again, granted, your opponent doesn't have hand traps. Speaking of that, you could also consider other cards like Called. I'd probably play Called. I mean, it's at 1 anyways. You know, just play one of it. I don't think it's like a bad option. I feel like if I was to drop anything in this build over here, I'd probably just run 1, considering the card is searchable. You don't want to, especially drawing double of these, is just no bueno. But there's also Stardust Illuminate, which is one of the other newer cards. I didn't get to talk about it, but it's just basically like a Foolish for the deck, so it does definitely help out as well. But Yeah, this is probably what I would personally do because, again, you can search out that card. But that's like the only change I would really recommend for some of you guys that are trying to learn the deck and get like an insane board without running a bunch of hand traps. The problem is you can run hand traps. They're not bad at all. But with this deck, if you want the ultimate consistency to make these cool anime boards, you want as much as like, you know, doppels and like to try to, you want lots of extenders. Because the way you can also look at it as, you know, obviously if you get hand trapped, it's unfortunate, but if they don't have the hand trap, that means you can combo harder. Even if they have the hand trap, depending on what other extender that you have, like again, this could be extender, this is an extender. Again, it depends on your hand, right? And it's kind of hard. You can also think about you'd have to switch up the extra deck for sure on this one, but you can also do quick draw. Quick draw is another fantastic card, also another card you can search off of tuning. Again, this is more extensions, but this is where the extra will get a lot more complex. But I'm just gonna go ahead and mouse over these real quick so the video isn't half an hour long, because I actually even have more gameplay, but you guys love Stardust, so we can make some more videos with it showing off other builds. But I'm just gonna go mouse over the cards. If you guys want to download it, I'll link it in the Discord with the files, so you guys can just one-click download and then just load it in. But yeah, I would probably recommend just one Arriving Miracle. That's like the only change I'd say. Overall, most people will be like, yeah, I think so. Because again, you can search it out anyways with the newer support. But yeah, the idea is to make those 3 boss monsters with this build over here. Obviously, there's more builds. This was the Assault Mode build. Again, I just wanted to share more builds because I want to call it like the ultimate one, where we show off a decent amount of variety for this deck. Now, is this deck meta best deck? I would say it's pretty dang good, but I would not say it's #1, you know, best deck right now in the game. It's more so fun for nostalgic players that really love synchros, and it's still a good deck, definitely, for sure, especially if you're able to go first. It's just really, really powerful. Again, when you get to set up, especially when your opponent doesn't have a board. This one is playing just 1 copy of Quick Draw, but you can run multiples. Another card that I could definitely recommend, this is the guy that was playing like the Synchron Carrier. There's also a Bryce Synchron, or there's also the Satellite Synchron. There's a few other interesting cards. Caligro Claw Crow is just another free special summon. Nothing too important with this. And then this one's running a lot of Living Fossils. This was the Black Garden variant that you guys saw. Another great card with the deck. This one I will actually recommend to a lot of players as well. If you want to have a better time going second in the deck, I highly recommend Droplet. The reason why is, one, you already kind of want to utilize these cards as foolish anyways. Like, you want them in the grave to really benefit off of their effects. Not this one, and then there's also the other newer support. This build isn't really playing it, but there's 2 cards. I'll go over the other card in a second, but like, throwing those cards to the graveyard, it helps you out anyway, so it's not really a downside. But again, I'll mouse over the cards for this build in particular, because I think that the Black Garden can be pretty nasty, because it makes everything low enough to where you don't get OTK'd, which can be a big problem for the deck, as you know, you need to negate an effect, the card goes away, and you just take the L. So this is the card that I recommend getting rid of with Droplet. Another thing people have been playing, and this one's actually playing Xiao Long, and like I said, I'll do an updated video. I just don't want to make this video too long, but Perform Popper Up, it just is like another draw power card. You send up to 3 cards and then you draw that many. So again, it's kind of just like a foolish, but from your hand. Obviously, you can search out some of the cards for the archetype. I would only probably play 1 Wish Converging Dragon as the ability of this card. Same thing with the Arriving Miracle. That's my recommendation, but I'm going to show you guys different builds here, where it is a searchable card, and when it's activated, you get to place 1 from your hand or deck. So that way, even if you draw the 1 of, yeah, obviously it's better just to have that effect where you just stack it, but if it's in your hand, you still get basically the same effect either way, and I just think it's another like dead card at the end of the day. You can also consider running Avarice as you go through things relatively fast, but if you're going through your combos, it's kind of one of those win harder cards. But you know, I'm here to show you guys different things, as I want it to be like an ultimate build showing off crazy stuff. This one's also playing the Majestic Mirage, where if I face up Stardust Dragon or dragons you control, and or face up Synchro monster that you control that specifically lists that cards leaves the field because of an effect, you can apply one of these effects. You can do special on one of those back, banish a monster your opponent controls are in the graveyard, and also any damage you take this turn is halved, which kind of supports the problem that the deck, when it's original design, when you just make this card pass, it has. There's also another card that can be okay for traps. Like, you can, I've seen people run Scrap Iron, but like, I just think those cards are outdated, you know, in this day and age. But basic, you know, ideas of the builds. This one was the Rocket build, which kind of focused a little bit more on using some smallish dragon engine, but it's just running like quick launch. It's just like other options that you guys can have for, again, extenders if you feel like you're getting wrecked by hand hand traps, but this one was also playing the Black Garden. But this one's also playing the Steam Synchron, which can be really good for like the different Red Nova builds where you can like basically get rid of all your opponent's card, banish them all. That's another card that was actually in the first build that I showed you guys, the Red Supernova Dragon, where it's a quick effect, you have to banish all the cards your opponent has. Like, and making all of these cards is probably unrealistic to like, if you're hoping to make these, it's probably gonna go on for more than like one turn. Obviously where it's, okay, yeah, we got all of them, pretty much, like this or this, like, it's really difficult to get all of these out in one turn realistically without doing like things with Avarice, and at that point you've won the game already. So that's my suggestion for you guys. But like, if you lose out on this card, it's just for style points. This whole deck is really cool in terms of like what you can do when you have the advantage, but realistically against a meta player, what's gonna happen is you're gonna summon a card and they're gonna bail her, and then you're gonna be like, oh dang, and you try to follow up another play, and if they hand trap you again, you just pass. Like, it's an unfortunate thing, and it's not a very good grind game deck. It's usually used for turn one, did I explode or no? That's the deck. But I still think it's cool, and hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing the Quasar come back into the game, because when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And when I really liked Synchros and stuff, this was the ultimate powerhouse monster. It was the boss monster that defined Yu-Gi-Oh! When I, played a lot. In the Plant Synchro era, this was like way before that this card came out. Once this card came out, it was like, you made this card and you won. And now, like, you could make this, and on top of that, maybe even like a shooting star, and it's still like not considered good enough. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has definitely gotten crazy, that's for sure. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay as well as the little combos and stuff. And if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. And if you guys are new here and you do want to see more new Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff, like I said, I'm gonna upload more Stardust or the new Stardust Synchro stuff, because a lot of you guys really liked it. So I'll do more different crazier builds as well in the future, but these are just some of them that I wanted to share with you guys. But if you're new here and you want to see it, hit subscribe, turn the bell, and you'll see more very soon. But take care, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Have a good one, and I'm signing out. Peace.